This one has been in the news as of late. Allegedly born on the winter solstice, I find that unlikely. Anthony Stephen Fauci Omri. Omri is a boy's name with biblical origin meaning sheaf of corn. The name Omri is of Hebrew origin, Old Testament name of a king of Israel related to the harvest. I've told you this is a harvest ritual. But here it says Omri is Order of Merit of the Italian Republic with the red and green and the cross of Nimrod. Does that mean she's a Jesuit? She works for NIAID. In my thesis video, I link this to the Naiads. Naiads were the nymphs of rivers, streams, lakes, marshes, fountains, and springs. They were minor goddesses who attended the assemblies of the gods on Mount Olympus. Naiads, in conjunction with the goddess Artemis, were nurses of the young and the protectors of girls. In myth, many naiads were the wives of kings and hold a prominent place in royal genealogies. I'm looking at this word backwards. You remove the I and you get D-I-A-N. Diana, divine moon goddess, Roman goddess of the moon and of hunting. Diana, the virgin goddess of the moon and of hunting, identified with Artemis. Returning to this word, you remove two I's and you have D-A-N. The Irish Tuatha Danann connection to the tribe of Dan. It is certainly no coincidence that the Irish Gaelic word Dan or Dun means judge, just as Dan does in Hebrew. The ancient connections between the Irish Tuatha Danann and the Greek tribe of Dan have been documented all throughout history. The History of Ireland in the Peabody Institute states that the residents prior to the Tuatha Dananns were descendants of 5,000 people from the Greece called Foibalgus. The next to appear about 717 BC under a king called Nad were the Tuatha Danann, said in Irish to be the tribe of Dan. This makes sense since the old people of Ireland were once named after their tribe as the Danonians, and the most famous Irish ballad is forever immortalized after this tribe in the song Danny Boy. A true Irish saga of the tribe of Dan, a serpent by the way, is a fascinating trail of waymarks along the path of this tribe's journey. These waymarks are the signs and symbols that the tribe of Dan had left in all the places they had travelled and conquered, such as Ireland. Many great scholars and authors on ancient Irish history almost all agree that the Irish Tuatha Danann were the descendants of the Greek Danoi or Danans, who colonized ancient Ireland and were the first high kings of the Emerald Isle. The Irish Tuatha Danann were the western descendants of the Phoenician-Greek Danans, who were also known as the tribe of Dan, Danae. In the annals of Ireland it is written, the Danans were a highly civilized people, well skilled in architecture and other arts, from long residence in Greece and the intercourse with the Phoenicians. Their first appearance in Ireland was 1200 BC. Jeremiah writes, "For a voice declareth from Dan, and publish the affliction from Mount Ephraim. Publish against Jerusalem that watchers come from a far country, and give out their voice against the cities of Judah, as if Dan dwelt in a far country." In the scripture, the tribe of Dan was originally on the tribes of Israel, who was the second biggest behind the tribe of Judah, who were named after and who had the territory of Mount Ida on Crete. According to the book of Genesis, Dan, meaning judgment or he judged, was the fifth son of Jacob with Bilhah. He was Bilhah's first son. He was the founder of the Israelite tribe of Dan. Their symbol is the serpent, and the name Dan means judge. The tribe of Dan was said to have conquered the Mediterranean islands of Crete and Cyprus, like many other empires after them, where they brought the waymark of the serpent. The mythical name of Argos meaning shining and white. In Homer's Iliad, the Danans and tribe of Danae are referred to as the grandchildren of Belus, Phoenician Baal, who gave their name to the Argives. Their territory was very close to, or exactly in the same place to that as the ancient Phoenicians of Tyre and Sidon in Crete. The Danans were the only tribe of Israel who were known as sailors and a seafaring race, which was unusual for the Israelite tribes. This is key in understanding how they not only ended up in Ireland under the name of the Tuatha Danann, but also in many other countries such as Denmark, Danmark, where they brought the ways of the serpent, waymark, to these lands. Which means the snake bite is the mark of the serpent or the mark of Dan. The snorting of their horses is heard from Dan, At the sound of the neighing of the stallions, the whole land quakes. They come and devour the land and all that fills it, the city and those who dwell in it. For behold, I am sending among you serpents, adders that cannot be charmed, and they shall bite you. Going back to this word, if you remove D-A-N, you get 2 I's or 1, 1. The 11 gates of the 11, 11. I have explained this indicates portals, and Paul connects the 11 to Janus, god of the doorways. I've seen people calling her Fausti after Faust, who made a deal with the devil. However, Fauci in Italian says it means jaws. Faust, lucky and auspicious. Do you still want to keep calling her Fausti? I'm looking at this Denver airport mural. I found some of the tribes of Israel in it. The tribe of Dan is a snake. The Aboriginal boy holds a painting of the rainbow serpent. If it's not him, the painting could be pointing to the red-haired Scottish boy. The tribe of Naphtali is here. They have the same curly horns. Tribe of Joseph is wheat. I see wheat growing just there. The tribe of Judah is a lion. However, lions and snow leopards are in the genus Panthera, so I think they did it so as not to be too obvious. The African boy looks to have tents printed on his tunic. Dalet meant tent door for the resemblance of a tent to the shape of a triangle. In Hebrew, Dalet also conveyed the idea of a door or tent door, a triangle. That boy's hat looks like a triangle. Dalet was known to the Greeks as Delta. It too was meant to represent a door or gateway. This could be the tribe of Asher. The trees don't match the scenery next to the tropical forest. Tribe of Reuben is water. I see water on this side and nowhere else. I think this might be tribe of Levi. I haven't seen anyone with the breastplate, so I suppose it's the one on the hill. I got a comment to see this picture. There's a strange flesh-colored square in the air. I don't know what is this. They aren't careless like this, so if it isn't fake, it's intentional. They want you to see this. Reminds me of this artist with masked people. Creepy masked dancers look similar to the 1985 film Labyrinth. I saw a video that someone mirrored Joe's signature and that it looked like a bat. It was removed and I can't find it anywhere, so it must have been wiped off the internet. I remember it looking something like this, but I think it looks like the Dracula poster and the 2 wolves either side and the shadow under the chin. I have researched Aztec mythology. This art was uploaded in 2013. Camazotz or Piquetazenia, bat god Camazotz means death bat in the Quiche language. This human-sized clay statue was made in the image of the bat god known in Zapotec as Piquetazenia. In Maya mythology, Camazotz was a bat god. Camazotz means death bat in the Quiche language. In Mesoamerica, the bat was associated with night, death, and sacrifice. Camazotz was known to drink the blood of his victims and is often seen as a Mesoamerican vampire. In the Popol Vuh, Camazotz are the bat-like monsters encountered by the Maya hero twins Hanhapu and Xablanca during their trials in the underworld of Xibalba. In Part 3, Chapter 5 of the Popol Vuh, a messenger from Xibalba, in the form of a man with the wings of a bat, brokers a deal between Lord Tohil and mankind, wherein mankind promises their armpits and their waists, the opening of their breasts in human sacrifice in exchange for fire. The bat god cut his neck similar to Dracula. Looks like a Nephilim, and always represented by bats. So this joke that everyone is ill because someone ate a bat is laughable. There's a bat god on the wall, someone is being sacrificed to it, and the others are cutting their arms. Bloodletting Rituals. Many have attempted to explain the manifestation of the vision serpent in association with Maya bloodletting. One conclusion is that massive blood loss causes the brain to release an abundance of natural endorphins, which are chemically related to opiates. As the body goes into shock, a hallucinatory vision occurs. Once the actual bloodletting was over, the blood-soaked ceremonial papers were burned, releasing a column of smoke. The smoke provided the perfect medium for the vision serpent to appear. Every major political or religious event involved bloodletting because it provided a medium by which the gods could be called upon to witness and actually participate in the ceremony. One of the shield jaguar's wives is seen gazing up towards an enormous bicephalous vision serpent. Zeus placed Asclepius in the sky as the constellation Ophiuchus, the serpent bearer. Olympias, the mother of Alexander the Great and a princess of the primitive land of Epirus, had the reputation of a snake handler, and it was in serpent form that Zeus was said to have fathered Alexander upon her. Tame snakes were still to be found at Macedonian Pella in the 2nd century AD. Connecting to Batman, purple, cerulean blue and magenta. Trapped in Wonderland. It seems that way. The bat iconography has evolved over the years. This one is most recognized. And this is the sigil of Ra-Um, the demon. When I mirrored the sigil, it looks like this. Do you see what I see? Does that mean the Batman logo is a demonic sigil? When I turned the Ra-Um sigil, it resembles an Aztec Tumi knife. This was used in sacrifices. I'm not keen on Batman films, but I've seen this one. The Riddler doing the V with the arms. Red hair, green skin. Seth, god of chaos. The family of Ramesses worshipped Seth, the red-haired god of chaos, because of their belief to a divine lineage to him, proof in the fact that many of them had red hair. Seth was thought to have white skin and red hair, and people with red hair were thought to be his followers. And we do have an actor called Seth Green who has red hair. The Riddler has a cane, but it's not explained why. I found 2 pictures of Set with an identical cane. She's a shifter, bending and contorting her body like that. An amphiptera, meaning bi-winged or two-winged, is a type of winged serpent found in European heraldry. Amphipteras generally were said to have light-coloured feathers like a sunrise, a serpentine body similar to a lindworm, bat-like green wings with feathered bone, and a long tail much like a wyvern's. If anyone has read the Sandman series, Delirium has red hair and she's a bit mad with a Joker smile. Tim Burton's Mad Hatter has red hair and clown makeup. I saw a serial where he compares witches and clowns, and I've been told about the one where he says clowns are Nephilim. This is only my interpretation, so keep that in mind. Clown altered from French colon, farmer, a colonist. Originally it meant a peasant or a farmer, but it also means a performer who entertains, as in a circus, by antics, jokes, tricks, etc. A jester, a person who constantly plays the fool, makes jokes, etc. Buffoon. Reminding me of John Wayne Gacy, serial killer and part-time Joker. The new Joker changed his clothes. Why this color? From the 1940s he had green hair and a purple suit, with a green waistcoat looking like Barney the Reptile. Harry Styles with a purple suit and a dragon on the trousers. He looks similar to Beetlejuice. Green hair, white face, dark eyes, similar suit. Quetzalcoatl the feathered serpent who eats humans. Look at the colors and compare them to the Joker. It's the same. And why did Google change their Gmail logo? Before the scamdemic, the Gmail logo was the Freemason apron. What's the shape of Google Play? I've discussed delta. It's a doorway. Circle plus triangle equals what? Well, it looks like Tanit, the portal goddess. Same colors on the portal with Hel, goddess of death. The Jed Pillar is one of the more ancient and commonly found symbols in ancient Egyptian religion. It's a pillar-like symbol in Egyptian hieroglyphs representing stability. It is associated with the creator god Ptah and Osiris, the Egyptian god of the afterlife, the underworld, and the dead. In this glyph, we see a shape that appears to be that of a structure with a vaulted roof and a high wall that extend beyond the roofline. This is the symbol for sanctuary in Lower Egypt. Flanking this symbol are 2 Tet pillars, also called Jed pillars. Do you remember what I said about generator? You need a notebook when you watch these videos. A generator is a machine by which mechanical energy is changed into electrical energy. I see no difference between the 2 of these. 5. Generator. One is ancient and one is modern. Or maybe they're both ancient. Victims of human sacrifice would be painted as part of the ritual, then placed on a slab where their heart would be removed and held up to the sun. Their body would then be thrown down the stairs of the temple or pyramid. The Joker is standing on the stairs with his arms up. He's doing the sign of Tanit. The Aztecs built these pyramids to the gods. They walked upstairs to sacrifice their child to Moloch. Quetzalcoatl is associated with human sacrifice. The Aztecs killed up to 20,000 people from sacrifice. No one wears a suit this color. His red suit represents the sacrificial blood running down the temple steps. The mask symbolizes Keme, a very special grandfather that taught the mystery of death and the dimensional doors that it opens. Sacrifice of an Aztec noble. The sacrifice of the Aztec noble Huacatl during a war against the Chalco in the mid-15th century. He was taken prisoner by the Chalco lord and danced on a pole, throwing himself off it to his death. Do you see him standing up there? Let's get a better look. Can you see him now? Now let's compare him to the Joker. Why are they identical? Do you understand what it means now? The fight between the sacrifice and he who sacrifices. This illustration from the second section depicts a scene of sacrifice. The victim with white feathers in his hair and a shield with the signs of the 5 directions of space fights a warrior dressed in jaguar skin, holding a war club and shield and wearing a feathered headdress. The sacrificial rite was celebrated on the festival of him in honor of our flayed lord, the god of agriculture, death, rebirth, and the seasons. Once defeated, the victim was flayed and eaten, so there's a cannibal aspect to this as well. The Mayan calendar marked the movement of the sun, moon, and Venus. Human sacrifices were believed necessary for securing rain, agriculture, fertility, and a proper functioning of the universe in general. Since the captives obtained in battle were the most common sacrificial victims, the military campaigns were religiously sanctioned, and the Venus Rain Maize associations became involved in sacrificial symbolism and warfare ritual. Maize means corn. Omri is a boy's name with the biblical origin meaning sheaf of corn. While the fertility attributes of Venus can be understood in terms of the most fundamental concerns of the agriculturally based Mesoamerican societies, whose subsistence depended to a considerable extent on the vagaries of the climatic regime, the planet's association with warfare and sacrifice can be accounted for by religious and political justification of these practices, which were intimately related to ritual performances intended to secure a proper sequence of cyclic natural changes and the ensuing agricultural fertility. Chalmecatecutli, a somewhat obscure deity who rules one of the 9 levels of the underworld. He's probably a manifestation of the underworld CEO Mictlantecutli. He also features in the Aztec calendar as Lord of Day 11, Soul Spirit Department. He is helped in his endeavors by a screeching red macaw. Chalmec is a god of sacrifice, ruler of the 9 levels of the underworld. He's closely related to Mictlan. Chalmec is the Lord of the Day for days with the number 11. Do you see his red face mask? You remember what I said about mask? Probably Arabic, mascara, a clown, buffoonery, a covering for the face or parts of the face to conceal or disguise the identity. It also represents an ancient Greek or Roman actor to identify a character and amplify the voice. To conceal or cover with or as with a mask. To conceal or disguise. There are 2 schools of thought regarding the origin of the playing card Joker. Some scholars believe that the playing cards were derived from the tarot and that the Joker was the only trump to have survived the transition. In the tarot, he's known as the Fool, and he carries the numerical value of 0. He symbolizes Alpha and Omega, or beginning and end, of the cycle of life and death. The first documented use of the Joker in the United States was during the second half of the 19th century as part of a playing cards game called euchre. The game was originally brought to the US by German or Dutch settlers, and the name euchre was derived from the Old German Jucker, meaning jack. The Joker can represent surprises and unexpected events outside the seeker's control. The Joker can indicate secrets, hidden agendas, or that not everything is as it appears to be. Perhaps due to the Joker's early association with the Tarot Fool, or perhaps based on the archetypal symbolism of the Justed Joker Fool, the interpretation of the Joker bears close resemblance to that of the Tarot Fool. The Fool is 0 and portrayed as a joker or a mime witch with black and white leggings and a bird. The Fool is the Joker stroke Juster stroke trickster. Some Jokers play a flute looking similar to Die Zauberflöte and Krishna. The merry pranksters from the 60s had a Joker symbol connecting to the Norse god Loki. They both have a 3-pointed hat and 1 eye. Odin was considered to be the chief of gods. He was often found far away from Asgard, the kingdom of gods, on long wanderings throughout the cosmos on trips that were purely for his own selfish reasons. Odin was a walking contradiction. He was a war god, but also a poetry god. He was worshipped by those seeking prestige and fame, but he was also cursed for being a trickster. Odin was not one to be trusted. He was known for granting victory to mortals by breaking the rules. He was also willing to break oaths he had sworn, which in Norse society was one of the most unforgivable things someone could do. An honorable warrior would not want to follow Odin's lead. He was unpredictable, unfair, and a trickster. This aspect of the connection is indicated by the names of Hugin and Munin. The two ravens' names are often translated as thought in memory in popular works on Norse mythology. Mime, the art or technique of portraying a character, mood, idea, or narration by gestures and bodily movements. An ancient Greek or Roman farce. Mime, to mimic, to play a part by mime or mimicry. A mime artist or just mime, from Greek mimos, imitator or actor, is a person who uses mime as a theatrical medium or as a performance art. In earlier times in English, such a performer would typically be referred to as a mummer. Mummers' plays or folk plays performed by troupes of amateur actors, traditionally all male, known as mummers or geysers. So I'm wondering if the word mummer is derived from Munin, one of Odin's crows. Miming is distinguished from silent comedy, in which the artist is a character in a film or skit without sound. Famous mime silent actor is Charlie Chaplin with the white face makeup and dark eyes, reminding me of the vampire and Dark Shadows. The mime is seen in several films, always with the alchemy colors. The black and white stripes, like Tim Burton is obsessed with this, as in Beetlejuice with the Chimera Carousel and Batwings. Incidentally, he was in Batman as well. This makeup always indicates mime. At the Met Gala, they said, what was the meaning behind Lily Collins' makeup? It's mime. They're acting out their rituals. Mime makeup sample ideas. To me, she resembles Betty Boop in geisha dress. That's also geisha makeup. They were actors and entertainers. Mime makeup and Black Dahlia Joker smile with the crow. I found a picture comparing similarities of the Joker and the crow. Obligatory Masonic hands, although they call it jazz hands or mime hands. Here's a Joker with mime makeup and magic hands. Brandon is behind the triangle, circle, window portal. Two ravens in Norse mythology who are helping spirits of the god Odin. Two ravens sit on Odin's shoulders and whisper all the news which they see and hear into his ear. They are called Hugin and Munin. He sends them out in the morning to fly around the whole world, and by breakfast they are back again. Thus he finds out many new things, and this is why he is called Raven God. If you've seen the film The Crow, the bird tells him where to find each of the killers. The crow vinyl art with hexagrams in the back looks like Hunger Games, both with a firebird and a portal. Circle window portal, his legs make a triangle. And reversed, it's the Hanged Man. They tell you he is because the name of his band was Hangman's Joke. The joke is he faked his death. Joke, Joker. He fell out to the window portal and landed in hangman position. You always see this. His arms are out, miming crucifix, and they're saying that Jesus was a hanged man as he was nailed to a cross and left to hang on it. Some of these cards are very telling. Dark Knight Joker was a hanged man. He may have faked his death as well. Micah drew the hanged man as a jester with a snake. Laboratory studies have used diving tanks where the submerged test subject was kept in a weightless and motionless condition. Documentation of such tests reveals that extrasensory phenomena, including imagery, occur. The witch's cradle. Depriving the physical senses by external means is in no way a new idea. For centuries, the Arabian dervishes have dangled from a rope around the wrist. Hindus have sat for days, weeks, or even months in a lotus position, and members of the craft have used a device known as the witch's cradle to separate the consciousness from the physical. As illustrated in the first cradle, the person is wrapped in a mummy-like shroud of leather or cloth. The cradle is suspended by a single rope so that it can swing and rotate freely to give complete disorientation with the ground. The second version is suspended by leather sleeves. Not only did the cradle produce sensory isolation, which aided freeing of the consciousness, it also aided projection of the consciousness beyond the physical body, astral projection. So they do this in conjunction with the hanged man to sort of give enlightenment and separate the body from the mind. He killed Fun Boy, again the circus thing, fun house, fun boy, with a bloody crow pierced with needles. Loki has one eye and one crow. Half of Brandon's face is in shadow, and he has a crow. This Joker has a bird. The demon Ra'um is a man that takes the form of a crow. Cirque du Soleil Luthia, a waking dream of Mexico, a man with a bird head. The Nephilim were repeatedly referred to in pseudepigraphical literature as birdmen. And we know the Neolithic period's highly prominent cult of the dead was focused around excarnation and the use of the vulture as a symbol of both astral flight and the transmigration of the soul in death. This one has a hummingbird head and wings. Huitzilopochtli, the bloody Aztec god of war, his name literally means something like hummingbirds south or hummingbirds left. Mesoamerican deity of war, sun, human sacrifice, and the patron of the city of Tenochtitlan. The people had to make sacrifices to him to protect the Aztec from infinite night. The defeat of their patron deity meant the defeat of his people. This is one of the many reasons why they were concerned with providing exquisite tribute and blood for him. Luthia with the Denver Airport mural horse. The wings in front of the portal is the disc with wings. The runway under it indicates Stargate. Luthia takes you to an imaginary Mexico like in a waking dream, where light, Luth, quenches the spirit, and rain, Lluvia, soothes the soul. So this is making me think of the Venus, rain, Mars aspect. Look at the two people with the bird heads, depicting the Apkallu found in Ecuador and Sumer touching the Stargate. Cirque du Soleil is a mime group telling you a disturbing story of what they're doing. It's in Mexico, which relates to the Denver Airport mural and the Aztec prophecies. The Aztec people believe that the butterfly is a departed loved one, come to bring a message of eternal life and happiness. Leadbeater talks of butterflies, which has the double meaning in the occult of souls or spirits.